Okay, hello. I am live again. Same day, different reading. This time around, I'm going to do a reading for fire signs. That would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I am going to continue doing the same format as I have been doing the last few readings, where I am picking uh, past, present, and future cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. And then, if needed, I will clarify with the Good Tarot. And yeah, I mentioned this on the last reading for water signs, but I ended up taking a couple days off. And it was the first time in 50 days, which I didn't realize at the time that I chose to take the break. It just kind of happened. And then I looked back and saw, wow, I hit 50 videos in a row, 50 days in a row. And I just thought that was cool. Amazing that I managed to do it that long. And then it was exactly 50. Feels like an interesting halfway point somehow, even though I plan on going and going way past the 100. And well, we'll see. But anyway, so I'm just going to dive right in. I forgot to mention this in the last video, but I apologize if there are any glitchy parts on this video. I do not have good Wi-Fi, and so parts cut out, and sometimes the audio and video end up off, and it's annoying, and I'm sorry. So anyway, here I go. The first card that I picked in your past position was Happy Happy. And that's awesome. This tells me that you guys, you have figured out your baseline for happiness, or that happiness, how do I say it? Happiness is your baseline. It's like this postcard that I have on my wall that says, happiness is not a destination to arrive at, but a method of traveling. And you guys, and you've figured it out. You know, you have solid footing where you want to move forward from. And by the way, when I say past, I mean recent past. So say within the last year or so. So that's really cool. Well done. Way to go. The thing that I think is interesting about this card is she's dancing on an egg, and there's a keyhole in the egg. And the egg makes me think of something that is going to hatch or has hatched. Of course, this egg is whole, but there's a keyhole, and that tells me that you have found the key. You know where that key is, or somehow you have it so that you can unlock that special something. So then in the present position, I chose the Yang card, or Yang. And I was looking at this. There's actually a face there in the fire bubble. And what's interesting about this card is I chose it in the protection position. I chose this card in the protection position not too long ago, in one of my last 2, maybe 3 readings. And this card talks about needing to remember that you don't have to just rely on yourself when you are creating, when you are moving forward, when you are stepping onto your path, that you have help. You are being guided. You are being assisted by a higher power, by what I refer to as the universe. And so there's an element of needing to surrender to that understanding, to have trust and faith that you don't have to do it all on your own, that you don't have to just rely on yourself, that it's important to take those steps, and you are very good at taking those steps, but also knowing that you can pause between steps and see how it feels. When you're moving forward, sometimes we get so caught up in our action, in our doing, in our focus, and our goal, that we're like, I gotta get from A to Z, and I have it planned out, and this is what I'm gonna do. And what this is saying is, there is another part of this, and this is the universe saying, hey, you need to course correct. Like, maybe you've gone from A to D and you've hit a wall or a bump or a snag. Something's happened. And this is the universe saying, you got a detour. Surrender to those detours so that you can move in the direction that is going to be optimal for you. And you may not have even thought of this thing when you first started, but this is one of those things that I've learned in my life, is when we hit obstacles, it means that there's something to learn. There is Kitty. I saw her under my hair. Yeah, you need to lost my train of thought. Yeah. When we hit obstacles, that is a sign that that we need to consider where we're at and consider our options and see if maybe there's something better. Allow your intuition to speak to you. Allow the universe to give you the signs. Be open to the signs, because we are always getting them. Ask for assistance. If something's not working, just go into meditation, go into prayer. Also, go into gratitude and be thankful for what you have achieved so far and where you're at. And all of these things will help to ground you into your body. The thing about fire signs is you guys are very action oriented and wanting to go, and sometimes find it hard to ground. But grounding is where, when you come into your body, when you come into this space of stillness, then you can tap into that deeper part of yourself, into that more expanded part of yourself, and that will help guide you where you need to go. And that is literally tapping into source, into the universe. I might as well pull clarifiers, because that's what I did for the water signs. And why not? It's fun. It's helping me learn the cards. I'm slowly but surely getting this. So, yeah, I've already shuffled. I just shuffled again. What do we need to know about the Yang card in protection? Two of Earth, two of Pentacles. The twos are about balance. I've chosen this one before. I should know it. I don't, so bear with me, but I opened right to it. Pleasurable work, adaptability, balance between work and play. So So maybe you've been so hyper focused on your goal that you've kind of forgotten some really important things. Like maybe you're working so hard you forgot to play, or you forgot to care for yourself or the people around you who really care about you. And also being adaptable. Like I said, you might need to take a detour. You might need to course correct. And that's a part of the process. And you wouldn't have known had you not started this, this journey in the first place, or this path. But very often we don't just make a beeline for the end. And remember, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about the discovery. Pleasurable work. Find pleasure in the work. Are you too caught up in making it happen? Really try and enjoy the process. Yeah. What else? What else do we need to know? 3 of water. I keep getting the same cards over and over again. And there are a lot of cards in this deck. I forget what it is. It's like, I don't know. I think it's a 52 card deck, but anyway, this is a really good card. 3 of water. 3 of water. Oh, passed it already. Celebration. Enjoying community, sharing exuberance, team spirit, common goal, and friendship. Yes. So, again, you're not doing this alone. You're not in this alone. As much as this goal might you feel like have come from you, there's a whole wide world around you, and there's a whole wide universe around you, and all this energy swirling, and it is there at your fingertips. And you are really being called to let it be okay to ask for help, to lean on the people around you, your friends, your family, and fellow co-creators. Just having a conversation could spark an idea that you hadn't thought of before. So be open, and yeah, remember to play and celebrate. Celebrate each victory. It doesn't have to be about the final thing. Being in gratitude about all the steps along the way helps you to learn how to be in gratitude. So when you finally reach that end goal, you're able to really enjoy it. So often we forget to celebrate those little things, and then the big thing comes along, and as happens, it comes and goes, and then we're left kind of like, it's like it's kind of anticlimactic, like, oh, well, I did it, now what? And we can't appreciate that we're there, that we did it. But when we're practicing the gratitude, then we get there and we're like, yes, because you're aware of all the little things, and that they all contributed to the big thing. It's beautiful. Yes. Friends and community, balance. And 2 of air. 2 of air would be 2 of swords. 2 of swords. 2 of air. What? 2 of air is uncertainty and considering options. Interesting. Because I feel like I chose I think it was the 9 of fire for the water signs, and it's very similar. There's an element of uncertainty in what you're doing. Or maybe, maybe this is what I was talking about, that there are options that are coming your way that need to be considered, that allow for the detour. So you're not just pushing through, you're not just trying to bulldoze walls, you're actually looking for the doors, the open doors. Yeah. So remember, ask for help. Remember to play. Remember to play. Play is so important. Okay, so future card. And this is near future. So we'll say, roughly in the next year. Could be sooner. Serendipity. I chose this also in the protection position. And this card speaks of feeling that things lined up in a certain way. So why did something fall apart? Thinking that because you manifested something, they in the description of the card describes a relationship, like, why did I end up in this relationship and get married and think this was the end all be all, and then we end up getting divorced, when at the time it felt like this was the thing. And what it's speaking to is that very often we are presented with situations that are serendipitous because they have a lesson for us before we can actually hit the ultimate jackpot. So it's not that something was wrong, was bad about this thing that happened. It was necessary in your growth. For example, for me, I had a job that ended up being really difficult in a lot of ways. And it allowed me to learn to appreciate subsequent jobs. And in these certain ways that I hadn't had that in this one particular job, and I wouldn't have been able to appreciate these things in these other jobs had I not experienced that. So there's always a lesson. There's a lesson in everything, and that's why I how do I even say it? I feel that there is always something positive in every situation, regardless of what it is. And it's because we don't know what's coming in the future. We only know what we're experiencing now. But if we take where we're at and we look back on the past, particularly look back on struggles, and things that we've bumped up against in our past, we needed those experiences to get us where we're at now and to be able to appreciate where we're at now. And we wouldn't have learned those specific things. We wouldn't be who we are had we not gone through that. So, so take heart that everything has led you to this point. And there are no wrong decisions. That it's all just learning and leading you towards where you need to go. And if you are somehow finding yourself derailed, you course correct. again, you just find your footing, get back onto the path. And it might look a little different from where you started, but that's kind of how it's supposed to be. That's kind of the point. We're already 20 minutes. Oh my God. I'm going to pick a card for this. Four of Earth. We have antlers. I was picking antler cards for the water signs, and I just listened to a reading today where the guy was talking about antlers represent like antenna to your higher power, to source. And the Earth card, that's like the pentacles in traditional tarot, and it's all about the material world, about the coin, the money, and the environment around you, and comfort, and all these things. What is Four of Earth, though? Ownership, the beauty of divine order, trusting in a solid foundation. Yeah. So maybe you haven't always had a solid foundation. That's essentially what the serendipity card in reverse talks about. That you fell into quicksand a few times, and that made you wary, and possibly made you fearful. And this card is saying that was supposed to happen in order for you to learn how to avoid the quicksand, how to find your footing, how to even pour the cement so that you have a solid foundation to walk on. Yeah. And the beauty of divine order. So everything has its time and place. Everything happens for a reason. Okay, next card. Five of Earth. Haha. I haven't chosen this one yet. I think this is one of the first ones, the first clarifiers. It's cool. She's dressed like a tree. Maybe she is a tree. He. It looks kind of childlike. Androgynous. Okay, so let's see. Five of Earth. Alternative forms of abundance. The illusion of lack, overlooked treasures. Yeah. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. That the gifts are in the lessons. That what you have learned from your pitfalls, from falling into the quicksand, is the gift. Because when we learn what we don't want, when we learn what doesn't work, then it points us in the direction of what we do want and what does work. And alternative forms of abundance. So I think very often we think of abundance as money, but abundance is everything that we could possibly want. It's the love in all forms. It's the comfort and the security. It's the joy and the gratitude and that we have everything life has to offer. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, one more, just cause. 10 of Air. Oh yeah, I picked this one before. This one, when I first looked at this card, it looked like there were like bananas floating in the air. But actually they're just feathers, banana-shaped feathers. And this is 10 of Air. The 10s they represent endings. Something has come to a close, or something is going to come to a close. Graceful endings and hopeful beginnings meet. So whenever there's an ending, there's a beginning. Always. It's the cycle of birth and death and birth. A point of epiphany, an end to old ways of thinking. Yes. Yes, you are in the process of learning that, like I said, everything has a time and its place, and there is no such thing as failure. That there is, like I said, a gift in everything, in every situation. And keep moving forward. Keep moving forward on this path of yours. It's really exciting. It's moving you towards amazing things, and you have your baseline of happiness to fall back on always. And that's, no matter what happens, you know that it's going to work out. It's going to work out because it always works out. And this tells me you know this. You figured that out already. So, way to go. Yeah. And remember, keep playing and keep asking for help. Everything around you wants to assist you. You are not in this alone. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been really fun. I hope you have a great rest of your day and tomorrow, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on the next video. Mwah. Oh, yeah. And like and subscribe.